Hello and welcome to the next video of my Worlds 2022 preview series where we're going to cover every team. We're getting down to the back half here. All we have left are 3 LEC teams, the 3 LCS teams, and then a couple minor region teams to go through. There is a playlist which you can follow along. All the teams will be on there, plus any other Worlds related content, which I'll be putting out over the next couple weeks. In the description, you'll find 3 links: Discord, Twitter, and YouTube memberships. Discord, Discord, join that. We have a couple things going on. We have a Space for Activities category where we have predictions, which will be going on during Worlds, pick'ems that are going on right now, and a player pool situation that we have going on that I'm trying out where you pick 5 players, 3 major, 2 minor, from play-ins, and it's tournament style until the end of Worlds. If you'd like to do that, or just join and BS in the chat. We BS about League 90% of the time. Twitter, follow me there, self-explanatory. And then lastly, YouTube memberships, $3 supports me, keeps the channel alive, sustains it. Otherwise, this is, you need money, you got to pay the bills, right? $10 for extra content. And so $10 will give you extra content. I do a couple extra videos each week. No promises on if it's going to be a couple, but I do extra content. I do all my predictions on there. So if there are league games the next day, you will be getting a video. And if there are NFL games the next day, you'll be getting a video. NFL, American football. So that's done. Now on to EG. MSI 2022 representatives from North America are the 3 seed going into play-ins at Worlds. Coach is Rigby. Rigby was the coach at MSI as well as Turtle, but Turtle is not listed as the head coach, so it's Rigby. At MSI they went 9-12. Finishing 3rd, 4th, same tier as G2. Some people say, well, G2 beat them 6-0, and it's like, yeah, well, G2 also lost to a minor region, so, take that for what you will. Stuff happens. Worlds 2019, 3 seed from North America finished last in groups. Worlds 2020, the 3 seed finished 3rd in their group, and Worlds 2021 was out in quarters, C9 last year. So if trends tell me anything, it means that EG is going to be the best team North America's ever had. But, I'm not going to put a lot into trends like that because I'm not an idiot. So, I do think that EG hopefully can improve on their MSI result, obviously. Finishing 3rd, 4th was solid. Getting into groups and then being competitive is the next step. Very young team in key areas. And the thing is, Impact isn't going to, grow anymore, and Vulcan really isn't going to get any better. And it's like, the 2 carries are what it's about. And the jungler. We have 3 young players on this team, 2 especially that were the youngest at MSI, which we'll get into. There's a lot to like about this team. There's a lot to look forward to as a North American fan. And I think anybody that's kind of throwing shade at EG probably have a lot of bias. They probably are a EU fan, a fan of a team that, was good to begin with when they became a fan. So it's like, you don't even, it's like becoming a Yankees fan in baseball or a Patriots fan in the NFL. It's like, you're a joke. So, top, Impact. Impact's been around for a minute. 2.9 KDA, 8.2 CS per minute, 58.5 KP. So the deal is with this, Impact doing well in lane, actually. 8.2 CS per minute. I'm actually surprised that he is ahead over 8. Because Impact, I don't feel like is really dominating lane all that much anymore. He's at a point now in his career where he's kind of just going through the motions, I feel like. 58.5 KP indicates, though, that he is spending more time in lane, which makes sense given the farm. 22.9 damage share, 485 damage per minute. So the guy gets damage. Not as much as the last couple days, which is huge, right? Yesterday we go over Mad Lions, and Arma had the most damage on the team, and that's a concern in a meta where the top lane is not supposed to be the damage dealer. It's supposed to be the bot side of the rift. So EG at least have that squared away. Impact still dealing a good amount of damage at like nearly 500, ahead at 15 minutes, so he's winning lane in NA at least. 4 solo kills, and played 6 champions in 19 games, most played being Aatrox. So he's done a lot this past year. His international experience is extensive. He is a world champion. Yes, that happened when you were in your crib. Worlds 2013 with T1. 2016, 5th, 8th, out in quarters. 2017, out in quarters. MSI 2018, 5th place. Worlds 2018, out in groups. MSI 2019, 2nd place. Worlds 2019 out in groups, 2020 out in groups, 2022 MSI out in semis. He is 66 and 54 at international events, 198 KDA, 771 CS per minute, 58.7 KP. Obviously, these stats are kind of, these stats are so old, I had to do a bit myself because some stats weren't on Leaguepedia because it's been, a long time, right? Impact's been around a long time, so some of these stats weren't updated or aren't actually like done pretty much on Leaguepedia, so I had to do them myself. And the thing is, like 7.7 CS per minute, like the thing is, like that number is a little deceiving, but at the same time it isn't, because when you look at it, you say to yourself, well, in 2013 the farm was a lot different in the way that just farm was distributed. You look at CS per minute of even 80 carries and things. I think we talked about Deft. Deft has played a long time, and back in the day, farm was not distributed the same way. And you look at the last couple of tournaments, and Impact's also around high 7s. So he is struggling in lane at international events. He plays tanks, and I mean, he plays weak side. So in the end, if he's playing weak side in this tournament, he plays a lot of Ornn, Aatrox, Gragas, Scion, things like that. You should be okay. Aatrox, not so much. I mean, Aatrox obviously can be a damage dealer as well, but the other 3 more so. Hey, Maokai got buffed, and 12-18 just got nerfed. So got adjusted. So if Maokai is decent, who knows? Jungle, we have Inspired, 5.4 KDA, 5.21 CS per minute, 73.1 KP. This is good. We look at yesterday or the last couple days, we've seen some junglers with CS per minutes under 5 and their KP's not above 70. And it's like, well, so you're not farming and you're not getting anything out of your pressure you're creating in lane. Sure, you may be pushing somebody out of lane. You may be taking a couple farm away. Maybe they lose half a wave or something. But you are not getting anything really out of it, like any, big gains, right? And you're giving up a lot on average. Where Inspired is finding a way to get a good amount of farm and also make something happen. Doesn't die a lot. Inspired has been the best player on this team. Inspired is the LCS MVP. He's very good. He's very good. This meta isn't even really an Inspired meta, and he's still pretty good. 11.3 damage share, 224 damage per minute. That's huge too. Last couple days, we've seen a lot of damage out of the jungler as well. That is not this meta. If I had to choose, I don't want top and I mean, damage per minute is like the indicator, like, are you dealing damage or not, right? Like, we want you to deal damage. Obviously, 500 damage per minute out of Impact is pretty good, right? We want that. But we don't want that 22.9, or in the case of Inspired, 11.3, to be up around 14, 15, and in the case of Impact, around 25, 26, because clearly this meta is being determined by the bot side of the Rift. And Inspired not dealing a lot of damage relative to the rest of the team is a good thing. Behind at 15 minutes, because he's creating, 75 KP would be an indicator of that. 2 solo kills, 7 champions in 19 games. I think Trundle was the most played, but he also even had a Hecarim game in there. Worlds 2020 with Rogue, last in groups. Worlds 2021 last year with Rogue, 3rd in groups. MSI out in semis. He's 13 and 22 at international events. 226 KDA, 622 CS per minute, 67 KP. He is world class. If you haven't watched one of my videos before, the way I consider world class is when you go to an international event and you do not look out of place, you're not getting gapped, you are competitive. Inspired is more than all that. I think Inspired is one of the better junglers in the world. And honestly, the way he has performed in this meta, despite it not being his, I think further solidifies that, in my opinion, that he actually is really, really damn good, and I would think is the best jungler in the West, which is going to upset some people, but that's what I think. Mid lane, we have Jojo Pune, 3.6 KDA, 8.6 CS per minute, 77.9 KP. The youngest player at MSI in 2022. And probably going to be the youngest player at Worlds. Sorry about that. Forgot to take out the garbage this morning. So where was I? Jojo Pune. Yeah, so got Jojo and Danny, youngest players at the tournament at MSI. This is big for EG, them, and North America as a whole. You know, if they can do well, that ends the stupid memes that people spew. That frankly probably, you know, have some inner demons they have to work out. That's why they throw out those memes to begin with. But the thing is, like Jojo, 8.6 CS per minute is pretty damn good. We're talking about Niski yesterday. Niski wasn't even at 8, I don't believe, which is a big deal, right? 0.7 CS per minute on average, 7 out of 10. 7 CS every 10 minutes. Plus, creating as much as Niski did with 77.8 KP. Nearly 4 out of every 5 kills have Jojo involved, right? That's a big deal. 27.2 damage share, 583 damage per minute. So is dealing enough damage, solid damage share. Mixed at 15 minutes, what does that mean? That means that, looking at gamesoflegends.gg, they have gold, CS, and XP at 15 minutes. Mixed means he's ahead or he's ahead and behind across those 3 categories. They're not, unanimous one way or the other. 3 solo kills, 9 champions in 18 games. That includes like Swain, Akali. There's something else really weird in there. Oh, he played a Yone, which I don't really think of Yone when I think of Jojo. MSI 2022 out in semis, 9 and 12, 245 KDA, 759 CS per minute, 66.1 KP. What do I think about these stats? Well, they stink. Jojo struggled for sure at MSI. There were moments that he was getting better as it went along, but group stage was rough, right? And I'm not going to deny that it wasn't rough, and I'm not going to deny that G2 wasn't the team that dumpstered EG during groups, right? But the fact of the matter is, Jojo's also the youngest player at the tournament, a big experience thing for him. And because he improved over the event, that's a big deal. The point is, for Worlds, this team has to take the next step when it comes to the 2 young carries. And I think it's definitely feasible. It's definitely feasible. In play-ins, it's going to be a good ramp-up for them where they are against good players. I mean, they're against Fnatic, which obviously is definitely their equal. And then you look at the rest of the group, they should be able to have an opportunity to make something happen there. Danny, I'm assuming Danny's going to play. I would like Danny to play. That's not to say Kaori wasn't a good player. Kaori actually looked pretty good. But I would prefer Danny to play. So 3.1 KDA, 9.3 CS per minute, 70.3 KP. These were AD stats. I was like, oh, damn. Because Games of Legends separates AD and support when they go fasting Senna. And I was like, oh, geez, are these fasting Senna numbers? And they're not. So the CS per minute, I wish was better. 9.3 isn't great. Now, did he play multiple Seraphine games? I think he played 4. So between that and the MF games, that's a lot of games invested into champions that are really off meta. 30.1 damage share, 66.2 damage per minute. So does he deal a good amount of damage? Yes. Is he up around 800 where we want him to be? No. But the bot side of the rift is dealing the damage, and mid, which is what we want to see. Champion pool issues are a thing. No Lucian really out of him, no Draven, no Callista, and that is troublesome. You want to have those as options. That's why Kaori was good on the Lucian in the first couple games of the LCS semifinals against 100 Thieves, because it was like, okay, well, 100 Thieves weren't really prepped for. They didn't respect. Frankly, it sounded like they didn't respect it. And like the thing is with EG, like that would force other teams do. I am very anti 6-man rosters, so I don't want to bring both of them on. It's just like you have to have the opposition respect both Danny's champion pool and Kaori's, whichever one they go with. He's behind at 15 minutes, 2 solo kills, 6 champions in 14 games. I just hope Danny plays. I really do, so he can have an opportunity to redeem himself and take the next step. Just like JoJo, MSI was his only experience. 9 and 12, 225 KDA, 936 CS per minute, 59.9 KP. Obviously, I want him to take the next step. These numbers aren't great, but he's very young. I would imagine he was the youngest. I mean, Shogun's also 18, so I don't know which one of them are older. But Danny, one of the youngest ADs at the tournament. So we have to respect that. I feel like it has to be respected. It really does. Not often do we see Western 18-year, teenagers from the West go to international events. We don't see that a lot. At least I don't think so. Maybe I'll do a video about, teenagers at Worlds and MSI, or Worlds specifically, in the ramp up to Worlds. Maybe that'll be a video I do. Vulcan, support, 3.8 KDA, 73.6 KP, 1 cleared ward every 3 minutes, 1 dropped ward every 2 minutes. Biggest thing to note here, Vulcan played 11 champions in 19 games. This is a big deal, because the thing about Vulcan is, at MSI, his champion pool was Leona, Nautilus, Tahm Kench. And it was a problem, because he had nothing else. Nothing else to offer. Where he just played 11 champions in 19 games, how many of those are international ready or international level? Up to debate. But if you can get half of them there, you're already double what you were at MSI for champion pool. So, that was the biggest thing actually about EG at MSI, was that Vulcan was really, really on struggle street. I thought Vulcan was their worst performing player. And he's really showing up, has a lot of personality, has a lot of confidence, and that might be a big thing to help Danny come back into this team, and that bot lane can, Vulcan can carry the load when it comes to Danny getting, comfortable and confident again. Worlds 2019, Vulcan was with Clutch Gaming, finishing last in groups. MSI 2021 with C9, 5th, 6th. Last year at Worlds, out in quarters with C9. And MSI 2022 out in semis. He's 31 and 38 at international events, 1.6 KDA, 67.9 KP. So Vulcan's, got more experience than Danny. Obviously not as much as Impact, but Vulcan has to help Danny get along. That's really his biggest objective, at least in my opinion, should be his biggest, objective going into this event. And I think it's going to bode well for the region as a whole if that happens. I'm excited for what the young players have to offer. I'm not a fan of any team. I always say it. The only team I have a slight fandom for is 100 Thieves, only because they're baby Optic. Outside of that, and that's like nothing to do with it's just the fact that Nade Shot is from Optic that I even, have any connection to 100 Thieves. And, but looking at this team, there's stuff to like. The young carries is something to like for the sport and esport as a whole. It is something that I think that if you want this sport to grow and you want this game to grow, you want these two players to succeed. I think that that's the God's honest truth. So, thank you for watching this video. Like it if you like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Go to the playlist. Go through all the teams. Join the Discord. Follow the Twitter. and become a YouTube member. Later today, I'm going to have a cumulative video out about Pat, about all of summer, actually. The video that's showing up around me by now should be the video I put out yesterday going over patch 12.15, so watch that. And thank you for watching, and I hope you come back for more content.